Hi, welcome to Stories of Resilience with my special guest, Franzie Jean-Louis. Hi, Sean. Hi, Francie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Karen?
Yeah, I'm great. Thanks so much for joining us today to share your story of resilience. It's
It's my
good for you to
pleasure.
join us. Tell the audience where you are today.
Well, I'm in the south of France. I'm in Toulouse, which is the aviation aerospace hub of France. Yes,
I'm stunning. France is such a beautiful place. So
it is.
romantic.
Romantic, I don't know anymore,
No.
but definitely a beautiful place.
It is beautiful. Yes, I haven't spent much time there. We learned French at school. We all had to
Okay.
learn French in England at school, being neighbours and all. But I've got to admit, I didn't use it because I went through
Uh,
France and everybody spoke English, so I never got a
yes,
chance to
yes.
use my French. So,
Yeah.
you speak French?
I do, I do. I'm actually pretty good at it, yes. Do still make a couple of mistakes, but I've been here for about 25 years back and forth, so yeah,
Yeah, got used to it. Got used to
yes,
the lingo. Yeah,
yes.
of course. Right. So we're not here to talk about France, are we? We're here to talk about resilience,
Yes,
and how you came to be where you are today.
right.
So we're going to start you off with way back because we were just
Okay.
talking backstage. How you started your started in classical voice training, didn't you?
Right,
At the age of 13, which is incredibly young to be. Well, it is from my perspective.
right.
I was a musician too, but I didn't start until my late teens.
Okay,
But so
okay.
13, being put under that kind of pressure, how did that feel? Being so young at 13, starting on that kind of journey.
Well, it was my choice. I wanted to be a singer at my junior high. An opera troupe came, and I was just impressed, blown away by the
Yeah.
soprano. And I said, "Okay, that's what I want to do." And I got the opportunity to go to a pre-singing camp. I did that, and then I auditioned for the New World School of the Arts in Miami. Wonderful school. So at NWSA, when I went for the audition, they said, "You have potential." And I thought, wow, I have potential. And so
Stunning.
that's what started out my what would be career.
Yeah.
However, classical music requires perfection. And
Okay.
that is what puts the pressure because you can't do anything wrong. At least that's what it feels
Sure.
like.
Yeah.
And as an overachiever, I just added pressure onto myself because I just had to be perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And was there a lot of competition? I guess so. From when you see stage school shows and you
Mm,
see kids going into that kind of thing from a very young age, there just seems to be
yeah.
so much competition amongst them.
There is a lot of competition, and because I was always very doubtful of my skills, regardless of the fact that my teachers were like, wonderful timbre, you're going to be great, it's going to be fine. I just never believed in
Yeah.
myself. So it was very
Right.
easy
Okay.
for me to say, no, no, I'm not going to do that audition. No, please, it's all yours. So I've never suffered from the competition because I never participated in it.
Okay.
Either I was given the role and that was it. But when it came to
Yeah.
audition, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And because I was always worried about it not being good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough.
Really.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where do you think that came from? What started that?
That's from my upbringing. I mean, I come from a family of immigrants that moved to United States, and
Okay.
when you're an immigrant family, success and doing things right is very important. And I'm not
Okay.
knocking it. I do believe that one must succeed. That's just how I was raised. But
Sure.
um, we were also kind of pushed to go high, like lawyer, doctor, engineer, and I
Yeah.
couldn't do any of those things. So I always felt like I was, kind of letting my parents down, that I wasn't
Yeah. Okay.
good enough. But I come from a
Sure.
family of successful musicians, so I figured, okay,
Okay.
I'm going to do this, but I'm going to be a pro at it. But I didn't know at 13 how hard it was going to be. Yeah.
For sure. But
Yeah.
you must have had a good voice to get into that academy for sure.
I
And
did. I
yeah,
did.
you still doubted yourself. Yeah.
And still
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
So tell us what happened next. Did you manage to overcome that kind of self-doubt to perform? Because you had that fear of that performance anxiety and that fear of failure. Did that ease at all? And if so, did you get to do anything that helped to ease the long route?
It eased, but much later. Let me explain clearly. What I'm saying is when you are taught to perform, we know how to smile, we know how to fake it till you make it. That only goes so far. And when I was about 22, that's when things started to crumble. I had moved to France to further my studies at the conservatory in Toulouse, and there I had a teacher who just the nail in the coffin. She was, oh, you're terrible, you cannot sing, it's impossible, and she just, I suppose she was doing her job, because the idea is if you put pressure, then people are going to want to work harder. But for me, I was already under a lot of pressure that it just was too much for me. And I also had, at that moment, I had an asthma attack, and I ended up going to a doctor and explaining how my husband at the time was explaining, she can't breathe, what can we do? He gave me the medication, and he's like, oh, and also think to lose weight. So I was like, wonderful, great, because that was also something that was a burden for me, the weight.
Right.
So yeah, it was tough, those late adolescent and early 20s. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you went over to study further over in France, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was to be to do more opera singing?
Oh yes, because my dream was to be an opera star, not just an opera singer, an opera star. Let's get it clear. That was my idea.
Dream big.
Yes.
And you did sing in the opera. You did manage to get where you needed to be. You performed well. I definitely well enough to be able to kind of get to where you needed to be. And
right.
So is it that kind of fake it till you make it, kind of just, act as if you can do it, put on the show, put on the facade, put on the smiles.
Right.
But what were you feeling inside when you were going through that?
Deathly inept. Not perfect. It was good, but not good enough. There was always this bar, because in fact, my bar was Leontine Price. For those who know opera singers, she was an American opera singer, and she was just phenomenal. To compare yourself to Leontine Price or to Caballé or Callas, that is shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, there's no point there. And there was no moment where I was just like, sing your best Francie self. That didn't come until a lot longer later on. But yeah, that's what I was doing. I was comparing myself to the opera greats. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but in that ahead of yours was this little critic.
Yeah.
Saying,
never good enough. You're not Callas.
You'll never be Callas. It can be
better. And that's tough. Yeah. That's really tough. That's really tough.
Absolutely. Especially when you've got those people that you're working with that you expect to be pretty supportive and on your side, not having your back and kind of pushing you, that obviously for their best interest, the ad for you, but in a sense, it kind of didn't make you feel good.
No, not at all.
And then something happened which affected you for a long, long time, actually, at that period. Tell us about that. Tell us what happened next.
Well, the asthma attack that I had mentioned just previously led me to having a reaction to this medication. The doctor gave me corticoids, which are like steroids. And because I was already overwhelmed with anxiety, that was a cocktail to make me implode. And so I ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks, and the doctors diagnosed me with bipolar, because at that moment I was manic. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I was ready to take over the world. No one could tell me what to do. So obviously when they saw me in that state, they're like, okay, well, she's bipolar, and then that was it. And then here come the drugs.
Okay.
So I am not saying that traditional medicine is bad. I'm simply saying in my case, in that situation, that was a misdiagnosis. And I only found that
Yeah.
out when I returned to United States, because that diagnosis was done in France. I returned to States, and I followed up as he had told me to do with doctors in the States. And when I went for some therapy, the social worker who was responsible for my case, she's like, I look at you and I see what you do and how you've been managing. Are you sure? Is this the right? And I was like, I'm convinced they're wrong, you know.
Mm.
Um, and and it was hard because doctors are doctors. So you're like, well, I'm
Yes.
not a doctor. I don't know anything. But deep down inside, I was like, no, this is wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah. So you were taking the drugs because that's just what you do when you're taking when you've been
Yeah,
given a diagnosis and you want to get better. You just take the drugs and you hope for the best.
right.
But they didn't make you feel good,
No, they made me feel awful.
unfortunately.
You're very kind, Karen. They made me feel awful. Just terrible. It
Terrible.
worse
Yeah.
than terrible. It made me consider, death, because
Yeah.
I was like, I can't live this way. I can't not be me. But then who is me? I wanted I
Absolutely.
I wanted to be an opera singer. This is all I've ever wanted. I wanted to be an opera star. What do I do now? I don't have anything. What and this is horrid when you lose your identity, when you lose your sense of self. But there was
Yeah.
something inside there, and it's not a voice, because then they would have said I was a schizophrenic, right?
Part of the bipolar. There you
A
go.
part of the body,
Self-fulfilling.
right. But there was just this feeling that no, there's more to me than
Yeah.
them saying,
Yeah.
giving me a label and giving me medication. There's more to me than
Yeah.
even wanting to be an opera star. There's more to me than that. Go find it out.
Yes.
Go find out. And that's what I did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. And although you were kind of your confidence was very low when you were a lot younger, by this stage you had a little bit more confidence and less self-doubt to be able to believe this is just not right. This is not me. This is not who I am. This is
Yeah.
not what I should be doing. Right.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm sorry.
yeah. Go
It
ahead.
was it was because I'd been teaching all these
Ah.
well,
Okay.
yeah, I had a I also, how do you say that? Well, it wasn't my side hustle, because I love teaching, but because I was teaching, that
Yeah.
gave me an opportunity to build confidence.
Yeah.
It gave me the opportunity to be outside of my own pain and focus on helping other people, serving other
Ah.
people.
Sure.
And
Of course.
that builds a sense of purpose, and that purpose builds the confidence. I was so lucky to have teaching to allow me to do that. This is what helped me. This
Yeah.
is because with my students are like, "Oh, you're great. Love this. I've never, managed to speak English so well." And you're like, "Okay, that's wonderful." And then when they leave, you're like, "Oh, but I'm not an opera singer, and I'm maybe bipolar."
Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
doesn't seem right,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But you got off them, which we not in a great way from what
No,
we talked
no,
about before. Not the best way. We wouldn't
no.
advocate your way of getting off them, but you did
Yeah.
get off them, and it did. How soon did it get back to some sense of normality for you?
I think I took the medication for about 3 months, and then I chucked them. And what I had to do was get help, because I knew that
Yeah,
maybe even if I disagreed with their diagnosis, I was
yeah.
not healthy at this point. I was thinking
Okay,
of, like, jumping in front of a train. So this is not right.
sure.
But I didn't know if it was the medication doing that, or if I was just in a bad state. And it was a combination of both, in fact. So I did need help. So I went and I got help. I got therapy, but I did a lot of reading. And I discovered meditation. Meditation and
Great.
yoga saved me. These are the things that saved me. And I was explaining to Mildred Talabi that had I not read a book from the Dalai Lama, I don't think I would have understood that my thoughts are not my thoughts. They're just thoughts. And I was like, that was the first time that I got that idea. I was like, oh, I don't have to believe what I'm thinking. And that
Yeah.
was the beginning of the shift That was the beginning of true healing.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure.
Yes. That was good.
The thing about the medication you was on there, it's pretty strong. It's pretty powerful stuff, and you don't need
Yes.
a lot of it when you've been diagnosed with bipolar, because the medication is just terrifically powerful. And then, so if you come off it too fast, it creates an adverse effect, which sends you into a berserk, seriously strange state, and then it makes you feel like you now are what they're saying you are.
Exactly.
because
Exactly. Right.
but it's a
Right.
side effect of not being on the drugs in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah. But I didn't know that at the time. I was just like,
Yes, of
you really
course.
are what they say you are, and you're delusional if you think otherwise. But deep down inside, I was like, I don't care. I'm gonna fix this. There's got to be a way to
Good
fix
for
it.
you. Good
Yeah.
for you. Because a lot of people don't come out of there.
Yes.
You just send them
Unfortunately.
the other way, and you managed to do that, which was absolutely stunning by finding some kind of complementary alternative ways of doing that. And but also your sense of self-efficacy as well, that I can fix this, I can do something about this is
Yes.
something that I don't have to go that way, and I don't have to live this way. I can find a third way to
Yes.
deal with this,
Yes.
which is a stunning way to go.
This is.
So
I'm sorry.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say this is really important. I just wanted to. That
Yeah.
saying no, I can is very important.
Yes, staying positive, even despite having some terrifically difficult things to be dealing with.
Yes.
So you have since continued to live in France. You moved
Yes.
back to France,
I
and you
returned.
continue.
Yeah, I returned
Yeah,
to France after the World Trade Centers bombing.
yeah,
Not related. It's just that that's how it worked. Yeah, and I've been in France ever since. Yes.
yeah. So there's something still holding you in France.
Well, I have a family. I have two
You
children,
do.
and I love France. I've loved France. It's a long love affair since I was 16, and it's James Baldwin and Josephine Baker. Those two American artists just opened up France for me. The passion
Yeah,
to figure out why were Black artists going to France, and it's the freedom to be oneself. So I find that quite how do you say it? It's almost poetic. That's
yeah.
I lost myself, and yet I found myself in France. Yeah.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful story. And for anyone who wants to hear Franzie sing, because she has got the most stunningly amazing voice, is to go and connect with her on LinkedIn, because on
Yes.
your profile, well, it's on
Yes.
SoundCloud, but you can get to it via your
But yeah, but
profile.
there's also one song on the profile. Yes.
Yeah, and it's a stunning jazzy soulful number.
Yeah.
So you still play? You still play in? Play with a band, music wise?
Yes. After I came back to Toulouse, and I got myself situated, and I was a full-time teacher at this point, and I just said, okay, well, I'm done. I'll never sing again. And
Wow.
I was also getting ready to get divorced. One of my students in my English class said, "Oh, your colleague said that you're a singer. I have a hard rock band." And I was like, "A hard rock band? Oh my God, I'm a classical singer. No way." But I was so mad about my divorce that I joined a hard rock band, and for 3
Oh,
years it was
stunning.
just fabulous.
Fantastic.
And that's where I learned to conquer my fear, stage fright, basically, because the bassist was just like, "Oh, shut up and sing." I'm like, "Oh, what?" Just have some fun, get over it. And I was like, wow, have some fun? I've never heard that before, And that's what started. And I think that was in about 2005, around there. And then
Yeah.
I had a second band, a third band, and Odeo Dream is my heart's desire. It's with my guitarist Patrick, and we write our own songs. And we have a
Great.
studio album that's on SoundCloud, a couple of hard rock songs too, to remind me that I can do that. I
Stunning.
do have a wish to go back and sing some more classical songs, but I just haven't had the opportunity yet. But yeah, I want to be able to do that.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What a career, eh? So much variety that you've kind of had. Yeah. That's a stunning story. Thanks again for coming on and sharing that.
It's my pleasure. Thank
Hopefully
you,
it will
Karen.
kind of bring some inspiration to people out there that have been through similar things, going through similar things. If you're 13 and starting out as a classical voice, potential, then I think this is a great thing to listen to because, just to be able to kind of, somebody that's been there and done that and not had a brilliant time doing it, but has come out and is able to go on and help other people to manage their lives too. Because now you're working as a well, not now. You've been working for a long while as a coach, as a life coach,
Yes.
helping other people with their performance anxieties and self-doubt and
Definitely.
self-belief and
Yeah.
self-confidence.
If I can just say one last thing.
Yeah.
There is innate wisdom in all of us. And that's what we have to tap into again. There's courage in us. We have the ability to take action, but we also have to be responsible. And it might sound wrong, but you are not a victim. You are capable. You've
Yeah,
got this.
absolutely.
Engage with your inner wisdom so that then you can share it with the others. And as I say, shine bright and shine right. This is how we make the world great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure. So if you want to hear more pearls of wisdom from our beautiful Franzie there, you can definitely connect with her on LinkedIn. Are you on
Please do.
any other channels people can connect with you?
Right now, just on LinkedIn or
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, and then we can connect offline via email or what have you, but definitely LinkedIn.
Cool, that's awesome. And if you want to connect with me in any way, shape, or form, and you want to just hear some more about resilience, how to get that, how to build it, how to grow it, how to maintain it, there's the link to contact me too for a free call. All the best. It's just the start of your day today. It's the end of mine, but I wish you all the best and I hope you have a great day.
You too.
And I'm sure we'll see each other around a lot now on LinkedIn, now that we're connected.
Definitely.
It's good
Thank
to
you
meet
very
you.
much. Same here.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.